In January 2021, we had a presentation to Kenya Bankers Association as Art at Work, where we met with members of the Kenya Bankers Association, and the whole point here was to try to persuade them or to consider the creative sector for investment.
Before Art at Work approached us, there was a need for creatives to really be included more in financial services. Essentially, the banking sector in particular was not focused as a core industry within their product range. And Art at Work felt that if we partnered and demystified what the creative sector would do, then the banking industry would be in a position to understand the business and therefore be able to offer products that are tailor-made for that specific creative sector.
There are very many assumptions that we had going into this particular initiative of what should be done for the creative sector. But the thing is, they were not proven, they were not documented, all right? And the thing is, the industry that we were going to work with, whether it's government, whether it's going to be the Bankers Association, they need data. They need information, they need facts. And this was responded to by commissioning a research which FSD facilitated.
The focus was actually trying to identify and to understand demand side or the users of finance. What are their needs? How does finance play a role in their day-to-day lives? And for us to do that, we had to understand real economy sectors, such as the creative sector. And Art at Work for us is that source of know-how, the experts, so to speak, in the creative sector. And by partnering with them, we would be able to sort of explore more opportunities for finance, or ways that finance needs to evolve in a meaningful way in order for the creatives to better benefit.
So for this research, we did a primary research in two components. We did a stakeholder interview component, and then we also did a survey. We did an analysis of what counts as a creative enterprise, and then based off that, we kind of selected specific enterprises that we want to participate within the survey.
The study came out and identified several factors that affect the availability of financing for creatives. The first one is the lack of a formal structure within the creative industry. A lot of the businesses that creatives do are either on a personal level, and the person and the business are not separated. The second one is lack of records. A lot of creatives don't keep business records, and most of their businesses is mixed with their personal businesses. The other thing is banks' current offerings are basically cash flow based, and if creative does not show how their income is coming in and a steady inflow of cash, then it becomes very difficult for a finance to be able to assess the potential business repayments and such way of essentially identifying how their business will be repaid if they give a loan. So we needed to align the way the creatives get paid, the banks to understand how these creatives are paid so that they can tailor-make products that are aligned to their revenue streams and cash flows.
I definitely think creatives are in a bankable sector. We did a market sizing exercise, and what we did is that we broke down the creative sector into 9 subcategories, and then based off that, we found what the typical creative enterprise earns and how much they would be willing, the banks would be willing to give to them.
Art at Work indicated that a ballpark figure of the creative sector worth to the economy was something like 5 billion of shillings currently. But from the study, it actually showed that we have a potential of about 25 billion shillings worth of businesses for the creative sector. So if we can move the needle from 5 billion to 25 billion, then you can see the potential growth that this offers to both the creative sector and to the banking sector. So those are the indicative figures that we are looking to develop so that we can leverage on that for the economy. The creative needs to understand what a financial institution is looking for when they are assessing you for a facility. So for example, if I am a creative and I want to approach a commercial bank, I need to understand how the commercial bank wants the necessary information. Now, in terms of the necessary information that the creative needs to provide, is they need to be able to provide records of their business undertakings which are separate from their personal undertakings. So, for example, as Fidelis, I need to separate my business transactions and keep records of those in terms of invoices, contracts, and such engagements to be able to demonstrate to a bank that I have a revenue stream and I have a way of showing these records, and I can demonstrate that, yes, there is a credibility within this process of the business coming in and the money going out. The bank also needs to be satisfied that I have the relevant information. For example, the tax records that I'm paying taxes, I need to ensure that I'm paying all the statutory payments so that as a credible business, I have a formal business structure that is in place so that the individual is separate from the business. Then I also have to show that this business I'm doing is, number one, viable in terms of contracts, intellectual properties that have protected the intellectual property so that the business is safeguarded against theft and such things.
In another 3 to 5 years, based on the recommendations of this research, I assure you that the creative industry will be a major, major contributor to jobs in Kenya, national development, income, and also in a position of spreading Kenyan influence across the continent and across the world.